Hi everybody, it's Lace, and I've been super busy with well, the breast cancer awareness biathlon and then the extra life event, so I'm a little bit behind on videos, but I'm gonna show some new things that I've discovered from R47, some tips and tricks for that. Not so much, well, maybe tips and tricks, a little fashion, little hints and stuff. First of all, one of the biggest things that's been impactful to me in R47 is the new Polearm skill. I'm going to hit K for skills. I'm going to go to Polearm. I'm a Polearm user. And that was GMing this up. And it's your melee critical damage. Oh my goodness, what a difference a release makes, or a few years of releases. Finally, some Polearm love. I know Chris had been working and tweaking some things, and we'd seen minor improvements. But wow, I am super happy. I've talked to a few Polearm users. They've been sharing their critical hits, their maxes. Usually that's with a sneak attack or something like that that they get the really giant ones. I tend to face tank things. Uh, that's kind of how my character's built, wearing chain armor and stuff. And wow, I just love seeing hits in the 200s and 300s, and I'm quite happy with that. With my current dex and strength stats and things like that, and the current equipment I'm using, which is not Uber. I sell far better gear than I actually, put myself in and stuff. And so I'm pretty happy with those changes. So a little shout out there to Chris, who always gets the hate, but maybe not all the love. Chris, aka Atos, Chris Spears, one of the developers there at Polearm and stuff. So thank you very much. I'm feeling the Polearm love, and it's actually enabled me to go out and do some harder scenes that I would not have been able to do prior to this change, because it just wouldn't work. And mainly that's because the mages constantly heal themselves, so you really have to burn them down fast with DPS, and the polearms just didn't have the DPS to do that. They do now. And so I've been spending a lot of time in crag foothills hunting elves, and because of that, I get to show you some of the new drops that are coming off them. It's gear. I haven't gotten anything good to where I'd want to try to salvage it, to try to get a pattern, but it's so beautiful. It is going to allow you to have a way more versatile set of outfits. Not quite to fight in, but for going to parties, going to dance things, hanging out around town, crafting in it, and stuff like that. Wow, it's really beautiful, and you can dye it. And again, you're not going to get stats on it because I haven't found anything good drop that has a good chance for a pattern. And then secondly, the quantity of the drops is so very tiny that the odds of getting a pattern are probably right now 1 in 1 billion, because they're dropping with like 2 durability out of 150. You're never going to get a pattern off of that. It's a very tiny chance of that. So your best bet is to use them and just make yourself a new fashion set. So I'm going to show you the ones that I've found so far in about the last week, and I've only been hunting heavily about the last week. Well, heavily for me as my schedule permits. So now I surely don't have everything that's new in the drops, and oops, and I haven't gone to even check out. I believe there's some Norgard stuff, but let's just start out with what I have found again in the last week. So we have this angled tabard gambeson boots. So if I put those on, they got a really just innate nice gold color to them. And the funny thing is to me is I see how they go top over the boot. This is an old SEA style. There was a lot of people that experimented in the 90s in the SEA with using plastics as lighter armor, but durable, to absorb the impacts in heavy weapons combat. I never, and they would bake it. Literally, they would heat the plastic up and then put it around somebody's leg to mold it to their shape. And that's how they molded the armor, rather than beating it on anvil for metal and stuff. They would literally bake the plastic sheets and then they'd cut them down to a certain pattern size, and then mold that pattern around somebody's legs. And most typical of the designs were they were doing them over the boot top like that. Well, I tried someone's armor like that as I was trying to make my own and stuff, and I didn't like how it was over the top of my foot all the time. It was always on top of the top of my foot, always that pressure there, and I ended up going with a much different design that was more carried to the belt around the waist and then strapped down. Just because I just didn't like the weight on my boot, but this is an interesting design. It's a realistic design, and I like it. The one thing that this picture shows, with because of the particular pants that I have on, it doesn't show all the detail of this new piece of armor. And again, this is just the natural color of it. If I put the Gambison leggings on, which, wow, these are going to wow some people. Look at those stripes. Aren't those beautiful? Look, and you got butt flaps and everything. We'll talk another day about butt flaps and armor from my SCA days. But look, see, now you can see the knee cops. Let's see if I can get a kind of bit of a zoom in on the knees. It's a little bit hard to get in there, but you can kind of see the knees and stuff. So you can see now these are the full boots that are not part of this. They were just covered up by the existing leggings that I had on and stuff, so you can see the gold detail. So while there's been a lot of people that did the seed invest and got some gold armor, look at this. This is some natural, nice looking armor that came gold, and it's classified as light, which means you could dye it. So you could make that red or black or blue or whatever you want to do. And guess what? These leggings also classified as light armor. So if I go into dye, and I just grab some red dye here just to show for this video, and I dye my leggings. Look at that. I got the stripe going this way. Or if I go secondary, I could dye the other thing. Oops. Little mouse lag there. There we go. I could do the secondary and do it like that. So blue is the original that way. I can do it red or whatever, or I can do the crosshatch, kind of the secondary style. I could use two dyes and get two colors. Let's pretend, it wasn't white and blue. I could do red and black, or so many different color variations. I don't have any sparkling or those kind of dyes, but wow, I think you get some really unique colors out of this. Again, it's a drop. I got these in Crag Foothills, and I've been farming the hell out of the place. Not so much for this. It's just I can get good experience there now as a polearm user. Thank you again, Chris. I can hunt and actually make more than 50k XP an hour, even though I get dinged way more. I can actually make a little more XP hunting than if I die once and have to hunt another 8 hours for that XP loss that I suffered just because I've been playing a long time. We won't go into that. But again, anyway, so this is just some dye options with these things. More equipment. Let's see what else have I found. All these songs I carry on me. I like to play music. Sorry. I have 2 music shops now because I've... Oh, well, let's just go in equipment. That'll get rid of it. I have 2 music shops because I have more music than I can fit on one. So we got this. This is just normal stuff. Oh, here we go. This is another new piece that I got in Crag Foothills. And again, if I go into dye, I could dye this. But let's look at the detail work. Again, I love the buckles and stuff. I know I sound like I'm a fashionista, and I'm really not. Because trust me, if I have to go shopping for clothes, I buy the most basic things in real life. The cheapest, most basic things. I'm all about the t-shirt and jeans, and I'm not about the fanciness. But in my games, look at the detail. Look at the buckle. I mean, I just love it. Very pretty. We can do some dye on it. And again, remember, you don't have to get this from the add-on store. It's just a lot of farming to get one. And I don't know if they're going to increase the rate of the drop at some point or not. But right now, it's so minuscule, you're not going to get a pattern out of this. So you're not going to be able to hunt in this, but you can party in it. And you can do a lot of dye colors with it. Secondary, I think, is pretty tiny. It's like a shoulder cuff or something. is all that's showing up. Okay, the centerpiece goes red. So you could get, do a two-tone with that. What else we got? Equipment. That was that the fancy doublet? I don't know. I don't know if I think that was the crosshatch gambeson. Yeah. So next up we got the fancy doublet that I also got. Again, same place. Look at the detail on this. It's like almost like scale and studded leather mixed. It's like if a scale mail and studded leather had a baby. That's what we've got here. Because you got like the studding there, but this looks very scale mailish with the segments there. Um, Quite beautiful. This is the natural color. Black, you don't get much black drop naturally, but look how pretty that is. But we could change its color to a white or, a blue, a red, whatever. Let's see what happens when we do that. Again, this is just a plain red dye. Yeah, not it really actually makes it worse. But that's just the color that I happen to have, and the red only does a little bit on it. But still, I mean, this piece without dye is just gorgeous to me. I mean, it's black. It's one of the few naturally dropping black pieces of armor. But if we look at the durability, yeah, 3 of 35 of a max of 150. Sure, you could use a Kodo, repair this to 150, gamble on the enchanting and masterwork. It won't be an exceptional piece because it's only 150 and 200 is exceptional. But I guess you could enchant it. Well, I haven't tried to enchant these. Maybe I'm misspeaking. I don't know that you can. But that would be something possibly. But it wouldn't have any of the innate qualities of the materials that you would make a natural set from. From leather or hardened leather with copper binding or whatever, you would make it. You wouldn't have any of those stats. All you could do is some extra stats. So it wouldn't be the best thing you could make. But again, you didn't have to buy it from the add-on store. And it's quite beautiful. The last piece that I've gotten is the split tabard gambeson, like this, and you've got two colors. So obviously you could dye two colors on it. It looks more like a padded leather armor to me. But notice these two colors here, a white and a red. So if I go to my dye and let's see, dye. I don't remember which one's which, but let's see. If I dye the secondary, oh, I thought that would die. That could be a bug that we should report because it's shown as red and white. I don't know if it's that important, but I would think that if I changed how it was, if I did a blue dye, I would expect that this would change to blue. Perhaps that's something overlooked. I'll let somebody that's more into bug hunting and stuff. I don't have the dyes on me to do this, and I report bugs, but they ignore me. I swear to God they do. I'm still working on so many for the Shogun Village. I'm kind of frustrated. No offense, Polearm, but I swear I've reported a million bugs. Nobody loves me on the bug thing. I don't know what I do wrong on that, but apparently not. But oh, look at that. Look at the silver shining through. So you can almost see that there's like metal under it, but then there's the tabard part on the top. I'm just interested in the design of this as it relates historically. Still classified as light, but I feel like I can see metal under there. And the funny thing is, I used to fight in leather armor, and I had metal backing in my chest piece, and then I overlaid segmented leather to give the appearance that the whole thing was segmented leather. But I'm a girl and I'm a wuss, and when I get hit, I didn't want to get hit with just leather with a little bit of foam backing behind it. I had metal on my boobies and my kidneys and stuff. So yeah, I covered my kidneys and my chest pretty well. It looked like leather, but there was some plate behind it and stuff. But actually my legs were the ones that took the biggest beating because they were actual just leather with foam behind them. And same thing with my shoulder. I got cranked to the shoulder really bad at a list at a Ren Fest. It was just a demo and I got cranked. It wasn't even for anything. It was just a demo for the peasants, man. And I got cranked in the shoulder, but through the leather, oh man, that hurt. I'm still thinking about that one. And looking at this shoulder design, I'm going, that's gonna frickin' hurt. I can see that, but it's still very pretty. I just know it's gonna hurt if I get hit in the shoulder, just from personal experience. Same thing with this tabard. If there's not some metal or good leather, if you get hit right there in the inside of the thigh, oh good lord, you're down for about a day. um, anyway, so I'm very excited about this new armor, and I just kind of wanted to share it with you guys and show the possibilities. Um, I'll probably be selling duplicates here in Diamond Fields, but it's not going to be cheap, and it's going to have 2 durability, and you're going to do whatever you're going to do with it, because I just feel like right now the drop rates aren't bad, so I may be ripping you off. But if you think it's pretty, and I have dupes of it, because I'm keeping one for myself, because it's pretty to me, I will sell my dupes probably here this weekend. I'll put some up, but they're not going to be cheap. Even if they have no stats, it doesn't matter because the drop rate's so low. I'm just not going there. If they increase the drop rate, I'd drop my prices. But for now, this is some very unique armor that you can run around in and stuff. And I wanted to share it with you guys and also tell you exactly where I'm farming it at. For you lower players, you're not going to be able to go to Crag Foothills and the one main Elven camp will eat you alive unless you really have some resistance. You need to eat 2 foods, and this comes into the tips and tricks part of it. Remember, you can eat 2 foods. Um, there's a lot of people farming dragons right now, so there's a lot of dragon stew. It lasts 8 hours. It's got really great stats. You get a detriment for 1 hour where your focus pool goes down. Craft for an hour, little guys, lower people. And then for the next 7 hours, use that pump up your volume stuff. Grab a second food. If you're heavily dex, like an archer, grab like some wolf surprise or something that gives you some dex. If you're like a two-handed person, grab some. I guess the complimentary one would be bear surprise, which is going to be a 4-hour buff. So you can use the 8-hour buff, the 4-hour buff, and use them together. And then in addition, as I've mentioned in other videos, go to the devotionals, and we do have them all here in Diamond Fields. We are sub POT off Port Phoenix and Jade Valley. Got to give a little shout out to my homies and my residents. But grab this sacrifice, and I believe it's sacrifice and valor, sacrifice and honor, sacrifice and valor. One gives hit point regen, one gives focus regen. And using all these things in combination together, in addition to the stat gear that you get, is really, really going to up your game. No matter if you're doing tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, or the tier 5 bonus mobs that are far higher. So keep these things in mind. Also, in addition, in Crag Foothills, you can salvage some of the elven weapons there, and I'm sure it's in other places. This is just one that's close to my home, so I'm farming it a lot. You can get the elven estox, and there's a chance for a hilt to drop, and you take that hilt, and when you craft a new weapon using that component that dropped, and this is new in R47, I believe you get a +3 dex on that and something else. The bows are the big winners right now. With those, there's 3 different kinds of bow strings that can drop. You get an elven bowstring, which gives, I believe it's +6 dex automatically, and then there's the precision, and then there's one of speed, and I can't remember exactly which one does which between the two, but in addition, they give 6 dex to the bow, plus something else. One's, I want to say one's critical and one's rapid fire. I can't remember. I've made a couple of these, and I've got a few of those up for sale in Owl's Head. A little shout out to me. And also my friend Robin Hood is the one that took me. I got to give her props. She took me to Crag Foothills on an alt, power leveling an alt, because I was so disappointed in, poor Lace just was not having good survivability with Polearms until this release. And I was starting to play an alt because it just, I could see bow users going out there and tearing stuff up, and I couldn't do the same thing, even though I probably had way more hours into the game than them hunting. And anyway, she took me there, and she was farming these things, planning for this release, and to be able to salvage them and get these bowstrings. Well, then R47 comes along, and now I'm survivable in that instance, and I can go out there and farm them. So I have to say, please visit Robin Hood's bow shop. I think she's got one in Novia Market and one in Diamond Fields. So she's the real bow person. I'll make some here and there. You know, I'm mostly just going there to farm for XP and these awesome outfits. So she's my primary bow girl. I don't want to step in her market, but I am making them as well as, I happen to get the mats. But you're going to start to see on the market bows with plus 16 or more decks on them. And those are phenomenal bows. But you're going to pay for them because the odds of getting the drop and then actually getting it to go to exceptional and then actually not blowing up when you master work it 1, 2 times if you only do it 2. If you do 3, it's even worse. And then if you go to enchant it 1, 2, or even 3, it's even worse. So every time you do something to that bow, the odds of it surviving go down for each step. So getting one with plus 16 does take a lot of drops, a lot of farming, and a lot of work, or somebody just with a huge pocketbook going out and buying the mats and doing it all, and then happening to get lucky. So keep those things in mind. Those are the other things that come from the R47 and the same place that I'm heavily farming right now. Again, it's because it's local. I do want to get into the Norgard industry and start looking at some of the clothes there because these are just so beautiful and interesting here. I can't imagine what we're going to see there. And I don't know. Again, I'm really hoping the drop rates increase and to where we can get a bunch of these and actually make them salvageable and become patterns, viable patterning to do things. And that's another thing when I go to sell any of these specialized weapons, because they have increased. Also, the pattern rate drop on things. I'll salvage 1,000 S-Talk weapons. I might get enough to make 1 or 2 swords, and I'll get some patterns. Once I make one of those good swords, I'm going to put the pattern automatically on it and sell it that way to show, because it makes it highlight orange on your vendor that it's been patterned or it's been renamed in some fashion, and it just shows that it's special. So that's a tip and trick for you guys doing the same thing as me and trying to sell these things. Draw attention to them. Take the extra time to reshape the weapon or the armor piece with a pattern you have for it to show that, hey, this is a special piece of whatever it is and stuff. So that goes in the tips and tricks. So we've been all about the love for Chris. We've all been about the fashion with what I could show so far of what I just personally have gotten. And then also the tips and tricks about where I got it, my thoughts on it, and what you need to achieve the same things as me. I hope this has been helpful. Take care, everybody. Happy hunting and be safe.